Okay, so I thought I'd be done with these stupid tire updates, but I'm going to go ahead and make another one anyways. I'm going to make this more a review of the Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s on a Tesla Model Y. So for the Tesla people, but really it's for everybody. So this is a 2023 Tesla Model, I'm sorry, not Model Y, I meant Model X. This is a 2023 Tesla Model X Plaid with the 22-inch wheels. It came with Continental Conti Sport 6s. And as Tesla people that own Model X's know, these cars have negative camber that cannot be adjusted out. They have fixed camber arms in the back, and with all of that weight and the squatting on the highway, the inner portion of the tire wears out faster than the outer portion or the middle. So the Conti Sport 6s, the Sport Contact 6s are 204, have a tread wear rating of 240. So the back lasted 13,000 miles with adjustable camber arms. So that's with camber corrected, it lasted 13,000 miles on this car. The fronts lasted 22,000 miles. So what I did was I replaced the back with Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s because they have a tread wear rating of 500. So I figured I get double the life. And Michelins have always been outstanding tires. I've never had any issues with Michelins. I've always had Pilot Sports. I only have the all seasons on one car, and that's my Mercedes. And I have zero issues with that. So I put these on the car in the back because the backs went out first, and then I planned on putting them on the front. The tires are an all-season tire, and you know, I got to thinking about this after everything that's transpired, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on this in a bit, but they were fine in the back. I had no issues. Ride's fine, no issues with noise. But once I put them on the front, these tires were incredibly noisy. There was a lot of road noise, as in like howling kind of noise, like a truck tire from mile one. As soon as I put them on, drove off the dealer to the tire shop, they started making noise compared to my Continentals. And every time I hit like a expansion joint or just basically anything in the road that was more than a flush crack, it sounded like there was a lot of like pinging and ponging and thumping, like a four square ball, like when you're in elementary school, those rubber balls, and you tap and it goes pong, 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 like a reverberating, resonating sound. Non-stop, incessant inside the car. So this car has always had what I like to call a magic carpet ride. It was literally the best riding car I've ever owned. I've had a Tesla Model S prior to this. I put 50,000 miles on it. This car I've had for 7 months, and it has 22,000 miles on it. So I go through these cars, at 50 I change them out. My previous car had Michelin Pilot Sports, not all seasons, regular Pilot Sports, and I went through 6 sets of tires on that car and 50,000 miles. So that's why I went with the all seasons, try to get more mileage out of them. So these tires, these Continentals, are what they call T0 rated, T0 spec. They're Tesla spec. And if you look at the details on this tire, the Continentals, they're tuned for EVs, which means they're super quiet. They have a foam core that runs along the inside, almost the entire width of the tire, and it's a dense foam, and it's bonded to the tread itself inside, the back of the tire, and that absorbs a lot of noise. But I think it's the way the siping is designed. The car was incredibly quiet. So when I first bought this car, I had my reservations about whether I wanted the 22s or the 20s, and so I had one experience with the Model X, and that was a loaner. And to me, it was the old Model X, not the revised one, the old previous generation. And to me, that car felt like a truck. It just rode terrible. And I never even considered a Model X. But since I needed a change, I wanted the tax benefits of having the 6,000 pound gross vehicle weight. I test drove another Model X before I ordered this to make sure that that's what I wanted, because the Model S was pretty good. When I test drove the Model X, it had 20s on it. I think it had Goodyear 20-inch tires on it, and it felt rougher than the Model S. not gonna lie, I was a little concerned. I was a little worried, and I had to really think twice about ordering the 22s. So I went home and I thought about it. I test drove another Model X, and the first one I think had like 1,300 miles on it. The second one actually had like 300 miles on it. And so I test drove that one, and I took it out for, about, I'd say like maybe 10-15 miles. I took it on the highway, drove it everywhere to try it out, really. And that one had Pirelli 20-inch wheels on it, tires. I could not find a test drive car with 22s, so I really had to just kind of bite the bullet and go for it, because I really like the 22s. I don't like the look of the 20s. The car looks kind of minivan-ish already. With the 20s, it looks even worse. So I got these, and my initial impression as soon as I drove off the lot when I picked up the car, when I first bought it, was, wow, this car rides really well. And I don't know, I always thought it was just the car doing all the work. It's got the air suspension and everything, and I don't know why the first two I test drove were basically the same car, not Plaid, with 20s, rode worse than this car. But ever since I bought this car for I changed the tires at 21 in the back, 21 in the front. At 21,000 miles, I thought, this car is the best riding car I've ever had. I've always described it as a magic carpet ride. Like when you hit a bump, like small things in the road, it's almost like it slowly absorbs it, like my camera moving here. It just absorbs everything in like a fluid, super comfortable way, like a magic carpet, like you're floating on air. As soon as I put the Michelin Pilot Sports on in the front, the car changed completely. It was much rougher. The noise aside, it was much rougher. You could feel everything in the road. It was so bad that I got the car realigned and the tires rebalanced, and it was the same. As soon as I get in the car, drive down the street 50 feet, you can hear it and you can feel it. Everything is transmitted into the car. So everything that was like a slow, like kind of a, bump or whatever, became like jolts. Everything was just jolty. And I'm not talking about big ones either, just anything in the road, everything. It just transmitted everything to the car. And so, believe it or not, I had them on the car for about 700, 800 miles, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I bought new front tires. I went back to the Continentals, and immediately got my magic carpet ride back, completely, right back to where it was. So 100% it's the tires. It's not even the car that's making it this comfortable, it's the tires, because I know how uncomfortable it was with the other tires. So this is an amazing feat of engineering on Continental's part to create a tire that's this comfortable and is a summer performance tire. It's just incredible. I'm not getting any other tires for this car ever again. I don't really even care what it costs. I went through 6 sets with the other car. I'll go through 6 sets with this car if I have to. So this goes out to my normal Tesla crowd. I'm not gonna, I think I'm pretty much gonna label this as a review for the Michelin Pilot Sport. So it goes to everybody that's considering the Pilot Sport All Season 4. And as I was standing in there at the tire shop, getting my tires put on, I snapped a picture and I sent it to a buddy, and I said, guess where I am again? And he said, he just sent back an LOL. And I said, these tires were terrible. I took them off to put my old tires back on. And he said, I did the exact same thing. He had the Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s, and he went through the exact same experience and took them off early because he couldn't stand them. So if you're considering this tire, and I thought about this on the way home yesterday. I had like a 3-hour drive yesterday, but on the way home I was thinking, what is an all-season tire? Because this is a summer performance tire, and it rains in the summer. So this is not a tire that can't be used in the rain. It's not a slick. It just can't be used in the snow or when you have a lot of rain. I've driven with this tire even in snow, because I drive through snow sometimes. If it's gonna, I always check the weather. So if it's going to snow, I always take my other car, the Ford Raptor. And But I drove this through snow on accident, no problems. I had no issues going through snow with this car. You can't go fast, you can't, take turns quick, but yeah, no problems. And I'm used to driving in snow. I used to live in Chicago, so I know all about snow and snow tires and, summer tires and all that. So this tire is perfectly fine for me out here in California. I don't need to drive this car in snow. I don't plan to drive it in snow. So now I've kind of reformulated my idea of what an all-season tire is. I'm just going to call it a snow tire, because what is an all-season tire? Lots of rain and snow. This tire can handle rain. There's no reason why you can't have this tire in rain. So unless you drive in snow, stay away from that tire. That tire is awful. It's the worst tire, one of the worst tires I've ever had. The second worst is a Pirelli P0 Rosso I had back quite a while ago on a Porsche 911. That was a terrible tire. I didn't like that tire either. And I switched to Michelin Pilot Sports, regular Pilot Sports, and they were fine. So don't get this tire. Okay, there we go. Just to show my Tesla crowd, I went back to the Sport Contact 6s with a 240 tread wear rating, and I couldn't be happier. Okay, all right, bye.